Time for the 49ers Rush Podcast.
Welcome to another episode of the 49ers roster countdown before training camp. We are going to 90 all the way through 1. We've got 40 of them down, so if you've missed them, go back and catch those. But this is a fun one. Number 50, cornerback, rookie, Samuel Womack out of Toledo. This kid is fire. Just an absolute firecracker that, man, he jumps off tape. We've done several Patreon breakdowns of him already, which if you haven't caught those, head over to patreon.com/49ers Rush Podcast. They just type in Samuel Womack. You can watch all those. Jersey number 26. Now, he's small, but don't tell him that. 5'10", 187, 22 years old. Quite the interesting journey to get to the NFL because, you know, he was a stud in high school, played at East English Village Prep, the Mighty Bulldogs in Detroit, Michigan, just northeast of the kind of northeast suburbs of Detroit, right off Lake St. Clair. And he was a baller. The problem was he didn't know if he wanted to play football or basketball, and so he never decided until after his senior year. By that time, all the scholarship offers had dried up. Took a while making that decision because he was a basketball player too, very, very good. Chose to walk on at Toledo. Again, walked on without a scholarship. But in high school, he's first team All-City, All-Metro, All-State as a senior. Cracked 1,000 yards receiving with 20 touchdown catches and 11 interceptions. Dude's got ball skills, and that showed Toledo's all-time leader and passes defense. Returned 4 picks and 2 fumbles for scores. Had 16 interceptions in high school. Now, one of the interesting things, last year's third-round pick for the 49ers, Ambry Thomas, both of them grew up pretty close to each other in Detroit. They consider themselves friends now, but they played at rival schools. Ambry Thomas was at Detroit MLK, and the quote from Womack is, quote, "I don't like his school, but me and him have a great relationship. That's my man. That's my brother. Me and him worked out a couple times and chopped it up a couple of times, so I'm familiar with them. We played them at least twice a year, whether in the playoffs or regular season. They got the best of us, but I feel like in our matchup, me versus him, I got the best of him." End quote. That's Womack talking about his new teammate, Ambry Thomas. Now, once he got to Toledo as a walk-on, so like this dude, no scholarship, paid his own way, he had to fight and claw. And one of the reasons why he chose Toledo was because the cornerback coach there, Hank Poteet, you might recognize that name. He played with 5 separate NFL teams over 10 seasons. And so, there's another quote from Womack, quote, "Coach Poteet played 10 years in the NFL, so I call him the cheat code." End quote. So definitely, being mentored for 5 years. He was at Toledo for 5 years because he walked on. Then he got his scholarship, chose to stay after he graduated, which was incredible. We'll get there in a second. I don't want to jump too far ahead. But Womack was a preferred walk-on. And, by the time he left, he had 39 career pass breakups, which is, again, school record there in Toledo. And so that's one of the things that I think is important. When he showed up 2017, playing 6 games, slowly working his way in. 2018, played in 13 games. 2019 was second in the entire country with 15 pass breakups. 2020 led the MAC with 8 pass breakups. 2021, he just went off. He got an invitation, was on the watch list for the Reese's Senior Bowl, Jim Thorpe award-winning preseason list, all those different things. And, he finished his entire college career at Toledo, 126 tackles, 4.5 tackles for loss, 39 passes defensed, 5 interceptions in 53 games played. Chose to stay 1 extra year, got named team captain. And just, man, he's just a dog. It's just kind of who he is. Now, his athletic profile. Let's talk about this. Small. You got to keep that in mind. Like, I personally have him graded as a slot-only corner, but D'Amico Ryan says he can play outside. They say that about everybody. Every corner they draft, he can play inside, outside. Every O-lineman, he can play center, guard, or tackle for us. Like, versatility is what they say. He's an inside guy. And that's where he took most of his snaps in camp as well, so Samuel Womack. So athletic profile, ran a 4.4040. Speed, check mark. 3 cones, 6.87, check mark. Vertical, 36 inches, check mark. Small, but man, athletically, yeah, you're very, very happy with this. The 49ers picked him in the 5th round, pick number 172. Shout out to my boy Lee, who we got to hang out with at the draft, who made the, one of the leaders of the UK Faithful chapter, got to actually announce the pick live on stage, which was really, really cool. We actually ended up partying with Lee for a while that night, which was really, really cool. And so he's going to be connected to the UK chapter. So he's going to have a lot of fans at pick number 172. And let's be honest, the 49ers have dominated the 5th round. Could this be the next addition in John Lynch's, huge home run hits in that round? Now, this is my draft write-up of Samuel Womack before the 49ers picked him. He's going to be 23 years old at the start of the season. He's 22 now, about to turn 23. 2 things he's best at: change of direction, ball skills. I had him as a nickel-only player, as I said a while ago, and just, man, he shows up and he's tough. He looks small. He plays big. He plays like he's 6 foot, 200 pounds, but he's not. Area scout Ryan Kucinich pounded the table for him in the draft. That came out afterwards. His deep ball grade was what stood out the most, and one of the biggest issues with the 49ers down the stretch, that slot wide receiver fade. It torched us down the stretch. And in the NFC West, listen to the slot wide receivers. Rondale Moore, okay, yeah, he's promising young upcoming player. Tyler Lockett, holy freaking cow, Cooper Kupp. You've got to be able to guard speed and great route running from the slot if you want to win the NFC West. 49ers struggled, and I think that's a big reason why K'Wan Williams was not brought back. I love the Shark. He was incredible, but there is no doubt that was his biggest weakness, and it was exploited time and time again. So that's one of the issues that they're hoping to address, getting a higher level athlete, more speed at that slot corner position. He took reps with the second teamers all throughout camp. Can he overcome Darqueze Dennard, who has kind of got that spot on lockdown from what all the coaches are saying? We'll have to wait and see what happens there. But D'Amico did come up and say, the things that were important to him were his close coverage skills. They value that. You look at Charvarius Ward, right? The big free agent acquisition at the cornerback position. What does he do well? Not a ball skills guy. What he does better than anything is he just does not give up separation. And so that's something D'Amico puts a premium on, and Samuel Womack fits that. He graduated with a degree in management in 2020, but chose to stay another year and was named team captain. Freaking love it, man. A couple things. Second team reps at nickel. He got some backup snaps outside in camp, but he's going to be a nickel-only player this year. He's making the 53-man roster. You don't cut 5th-round picks, especially at the corner position. Having said that, they're deep. They are very deep, but not at nickel. So you look at who's all getting snaps there. Darqueze Dennard's getting the starter snaps. You've already got Samuel Womack getting the majority of the second team. Dante Johnson's getting some snaps. Diamador Lenoir's getting some snaps. So now there's other players. Jason Farrett, he used to play slot corner in the NFL and in college. Obviously, Emmanuel Mosley, when he first came to the 49ers, was getting slot snaps. So there's a lot of bodies there, but if he can lock up that number 2 spot, or maybe even the number 1 by the end of the year, I think that'd be key. I think Darqueze Dennard's going to win that starting job early in the year, and they're going to try to bring in Samuel Womack, very similar to Ambry Thomas last year at the outside. So he's making the 53, but I don't think we're going to see him a lot this year. Perhaps the midway point on, that's where Samuel Womack can finally get in there. I mean, this new tendency of John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan is redshirt rookies. Don't throw them out there before they're ready. Let them develop. Let them prove themselves, build their confidence, then get them out there. And I think that's what's going to happen. So outside of an injury, I think he makes the roster regardless, but if you're looking for starter, competing, rotation snaps, it's going to take a couple months into the season. But I like this kid, and again, this list is biggest influence in 2022. That's why we have him at 50. If I put my betting money down on who the starting slot corner is in 2023, I'm betting on this kid, Samuel Womack. But he's got to earn it. He's got to go out there and fight. And he is, by definition, a dog. Mentality, his history, he's a dog. He just got to develop a little bit consistency, as with most rookies. And once he gets there, I think he's going to be there to stay. I want to say thank you to Anthony and Josh, the producers of this series. And man, if you've missed any of the previous ones, go check them out. We've got 40 videos out already. We got 50 more to go. We're just going to keep counting them down.